Have you ever wondered why two people can look at the exact same political event and walk away with two completely different realities? It's not just opinions. There's actual psychology behind it. And once you understand how politics and psychology feed into each other, you start to see the world, and even yourself, a little differently. Today, we're diving into the fascinating intersection between politics and psychology. Now, before you think, ugh, politics, hold on. This isn't about right or wrong, left or right. This is about understanding how your mind works when it encounters political information and how political environments shape the way you think, feel, and behave. Whether you follow politics closely or try to avoid it altogether, the truth is, politics affects our brains, and our brains affect our politics. And understanding that two-way relationship can help you become more self-aware, less reactive, and a lot more capable of navigating the world with clarity. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's unpack how psychology and politics intertwine, influence each other, and what we can actually learn from all of this. Why politics get so deep into our brains? Let's start with a simple truth. Humans are hardwired for groups. From the beginning of our species, our survival depended on sticking with a tribe and politics. Modern-day tribes, they give us a sense of identity, a sense of belonging, a sense of safety. This is why political beliefs can feel so personal. When someone challenges your political opinion, your brain might interpret it as a threat, not just to your ideas, but to your self-concept. And when your brain detects a threat, the emotional part, especially the amygdala, lights up. That's why political arguments feel heated. Even when the stakes are low, it's biology, it's psychology, and it's powerful. Once you realize this, political disagreements become less, "How can they be so stupid?" and more, "Oh, their threat response is activated. That makes sense." Cognitive biases, the hidden puppeteers. Now let's get into the real psychological machinery. The human brain loves shortcuts. It uses mental patterns, called cognitive biases, to make quick decisions. But in politics, these shortcuts can distort the way we see reality. Here are three big ones. Confirmation bias. You naturally gravitate toward information that supports your existing beliefs. If you believe a politician is corrupt, every story, even an unverified rumor, feels like proof. If you believe your political side is the moral one, you'll subconsciously filter information to maintain that belief. It's not intentional, it's not irrational, it's simply your brain protecting your internal worldview. In-group bias. Remember that tribal instinct? This is where it shows up. People tend to see their own political group as more trustworthy, more moral, more reasonable, while seeing the other group as misguided or extreme. This happens even in groups that were formed randomly in experimental settings. Imagine how strong it becomes with actual political identities. The backfire effect. Here's a wild one. Sometimes when people see information that contradicts their political beliefs, they don't reconsider. They double down. Their brain basically says, "That threatens my worldview. Time to defend it even harder." This is why political arguments on social media rarely change minds. People aren't processing new information. They're defending an identity. How politicians use psychology, sometimes without you noticing. Politics isn't just influenced by psychology, it uses psychology. Whether intentionally or not, political messages tap into powerful psychological triggers. Fear. Fear is one of the strongest motivators for human behavior. When political messaging triggers fear, fear of losing rights, jobs, safety, status, people become more attentive, more reactive, and more loyal to the messenger offering protection. Hope. On the flip side, hope can energize people, motivate them to vote, volunteer, or advocate for a cause. Hope centers the reward pathways in the brain. It makes people feel like change is possible. Great political leaders balance both. The danger if we do nothing plus the hope if we act. Simplicity. Political issues are complex, but the human brain prefers clarity. So slogans, symbols, and simple narratives become incredibly persuasive, not because people are unintelligent, but because the brain loves patterns it can easily process. The more complex the issue, the more powerful a simple emotional narrative becomes. Why two people can't agree even when they see the same facts. Let's talk perception. We like to believe we all see the same version of reality, but psychology says otherwise. What we perceive is a combination of upbringing, environment, values, emotional triggers, personal experiences, identity markers. Two people can consume the same news clip, but their brains interpret it through completely different filters. That's why political arguments often feel like conversations between two different realities. It's not just disagreements, it's different mental frameworks. For example, someone raised in a stable, secure environment may interpret political change as exciting. Someone raised in an unstable environment may see the same change as dangerous. They're not disagreeing on the facts, they're disagreeing based on life experience. Psychology shows us that political opinions are rarely just political. They're emotional stories shaped over time. How politics shapes your psychology, sometimes without you realizing. Now let's flip the equation. Politics doesn't just reflect psychology, it can change it. Political environments can influence stress levels. Constant exposure to political conflict, especially online, can increase cortisol, the stress hormone. Some people begin experiencing anxiety, anger, or even hopelessness when consuming political content. Social identity. Political labels can become such a big part of someone's identity that they shape friendships, relationships, and social circles. This can create echo chambers, safe but limiting environments where you only hear opinions similar to your own. Moral values. Political messaging can shape what people consider right or wrong. Over time, individuals may adjust their personal values to match their political group more closely. Decision-making. Research shows that political tension can actually change how people weigh risk and reward. In heated political periods, individuals are more likely to make emotionally driven decisions rather than rational, long-term ones. What we can learn from all this, and how it makes you smarter. So now that we've pulled back the curtain on the psychology behind politics, what do we actually do with this information? Here are a few powerful takeaways. 1. Practice awareness over reactivity. If you feel yourself getting heated, take a step back. Ask, what am I feeling threatened by? Is this emotional or factual? Awareness interrupts bias. 2. Seek understanding, not victory. You won't change someone's mind by overpowering them with facts. But you can learn a lot by asking, why does this matter to you? How did you come to feel this way? Political conversations become more productive when they become more human. 3. Avoid echo chambers. Follow a few voices you disagree with, not to argue, but to broaden your perception. It strengthens your critical thinking and reduces bias. 4. Remember that uncertainty is okay. Political issues are complicated. It's okay to say, I'm not sure, I'm still learning, or I can see both sides. Uncertainty is a sign of intellectual maturity, not weakness. 5. Focus on shared humanity. No matter where someone falls politically, their psychology is shaped by experiences, fears, hopes, and values. Understanding that doesn't mean you have to agree, but it does mean you can empathize. Politics and psychology are deeply intertwined, not just in society, but inside each of us. When you understand how your brain interprets political information, you become less reactive, more aware, and a whole lot harder to manipulate. And when you recognize how other people's psychology shapes their political beliefs, conversations become easier, empathy becomes more natural, and the world starts making a little more sense. If this video helped you understand the intersection of politics and psychology, hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your biggest takeaway, and subscribe for more educational videos that help you understand the world and your mind a little better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.